free content is the best kind of content. I already see that V Premium no changes. I think we all know why that is. It starts with E and ends with an OS. I mean, writing's on the wall. We got the promos, but 2 products per year, not happening. So we look towards standard now, and then we have Dark States getting Brainwash Swirler and GG on a choice restriction between each other. Now, hey, better late than never. Just kidding. I'm pretty sure like everyone has already kind of like gone off of Jet right now, and so like this hit does nothing. Like as far as I know, most people are like already on like the on hit Soul Charge 2. All I remember is that it was a really funny word, and then I thought it was like these nuts or something. Sargon, yeah, Sargon these nuts. Like as far as I know, people have already like started to cut Swirler in preparation for testing with Sargon, because we already knew that this was happening in the Japanese side of the game. So late, very late, probably doesn't do much to what the decks are currently doing right now. Sucks for me because I still haven't gotten my Swirlers in yet. We also see Eva getting hit there on the brand gate side of things. So we have Eva as well as Combine Rusher on a choice restriction. So it looks like basically Eva was just very forefront of the meta game for a really long time. And Combine Rusher did nothing but help it out even more. So instead of making Combine Rusher more focused onto Eva support, they kind of want to like split the two up, put Combine Rusher more into the brand gate side of things and Eva onto the Eva side of things. Do I care? Not really. I was an Eva player. And I also think that Eva started to fall off already. As you can see from like Japanese results, Eva is already falling off a cliff. So if anything, all this Banlist really says is the same thing as every other Banlist does, where we are always 6 months behind the format, the Banlist, the knowledge, keeping up to date with what needs to be. And yeah, I guess like Japan has like more sets than we do, being like, as Double R says, Token Ranbu, Monster Strike. But even then, like from what I've seen and heard, Eva has like fell off even before since then. Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously. As you can tell, I'm not a standard player until Bastion Accord comes out. But that's about it for the standard changes. I don't think, like, to be honest, I didn't see Youthbrook get hit, but then again, I'm pretty sure Youthbrook also fell off. All I know is right now, the big baddie, especially in English, is Gandiva. So the fact that we didn't get like any preemptive touching to Gandiva, even though everyone knows Gandiva is going to be the big one of the format, is kind of worrisome. But we still have a full BCS season to let Gandiva run rampant. And you know what? I think it's fine to have a non-anime deck win. Let's go on to the premium side of things. So, as of today, August 11th, 2023, History Collection is now out and in stores. And in History Collection comes 2 very important cards that everybody will need. One of them being Honolulu, the other one being Harmonix Messiah. So if you want to play in the format premium, go to your local game shop and support them by buying out their History Collection, because apparently Harmonix is only 2 per case and everybody needs 1. So, premium updates. We have a bunch of bans here. 1, Kokushigarasu. So Kokushigarasu, everybody knows it. Discard 2 Sentinels. Your opponent loses everything. They lose their life, they lose their wife, they lose their Guilty Gear Strife. Yeah, I didn't know where I was going with that one. But yeah, Kokushigarasu, it wasn't a problem card, but it will always become a problem card because of how much of a bomb it is, how much of a nuke it is all in one card. Especially with the fact with like the new History Collection erratas, where you get 2 protect markers for superior striding into the new Batom Stride. 2 protect markers equals the 2 Sentinels you need to discover Kokushigarasu. Get it out of the way with before it becomes a problem. Now, we could also argue that, oh, this is good. This is good insight that we hit it before it becomes a problem. But this is already just kind of mimicking a hit that already happened in Japan. Then we have Full Bronto. So Full Bronto has the benefit of going into the Vanquisher deck, and Vanquisher has the benefit of being the G boss that is played with the new Stride erratas. Therefore, because if our Vanguard is Draconic Vanquisher, I believe that on our channel, Ben did put a video showcasing what we can do with like that full Vanquisher line, with the new Stride, with Full Bronto, and I guess they thought that is too many axle markers in one turn. We can't let this happen. Meanwhile, Enterana. Okay. Lastly, this is a bit of a strange hit. We got Karenus hit, and I'm hoping someone in chat can pipe up as to why this was hit. Another GP infinite loop. Okay, I'm seeing choose one of your units, rest this. Choose one of your units, it gets 4k until end of turn. If you have Gurga in this name, choose one of your rear guards with a different card name than this, spin it to bottom, and if you do, draw a card, countercharge 1. To remind everyone, Knight of Heavenly Piercing Assaulta says when this is placed on rearguard circle or discard from hand during your turn, choose one of your back row rear guards, aka Karenus, and stand it, which then lets us use its Rest Act skill once again to give another 4k. And I'm assuming that you are just able to send it back to deck, draw it again, send it back to deck, draw it again, send it back to deck, draw again. Keep slamming it down until you can give all your units infinite power to go for game that way. And infinite countercharge, obviously. So I think the sad part is I don't really imagine Gold Paladin showing up in the upcoming BCS season, but infinite loops are infinite loops, and it's always good to nip those in the bud before they become a problem. So that's the first 3 hits on the premium side of things. What do I think is the most impactful one? Probably Narukami. I think Vanquisher was looking to be a very strong top end for the Narukami deck. And Narukami also recently just got our Stunverse hit. So Narukami's taken a lot of wallopings from Banlist, albeit over a long time because of how infrequently we get our Banlist. However, still good to see these get nipped in the bud before they become a problem. What else did we get hit? All right, so we have our resident Pale Moon God in the chat right now. Megatrix sound out in the chat. Harry, Alice, Unrestrict, let's go. Also Bike. No, but more importantly, we finally got Harry and Alice off of the ban list because those two comboed off so well of each other. Yeah, I still don't know why these two got hit in the first place, so yeah. Sure. Now, I don't know if there's anything cool we can do now that we have like a Vanguard with Harry that we can use with like the new premium collection stride, history collection stride, gets us the stage and we can dance on that with the Nightmare Doll stuff. But it still goes back to, I don't think these two cards should have been hit in the first place. Then we have Enterana. I would have liked to just see this card banned. I think as it is now, we can kind of see the writing on the wall, and V is going to be end of service. And if it's going to be end of service, what is the point of leaving their cards available? So Enterana, as far as I know, is banned in V, and now it's restricted to 1 in P. So what I think is they should just straight up ban it because they're not looking to innovate on the format. They're not looking to continue building towards these kind of strong cards. So just forget that Enterana happened, because that's pretty much what's gonna happen here. Restricted to 1, just straight up ban it. Pretend that Enterana was never printed. Maybe like the only card we got out of like the latest clan collection was Cat, and then we'll just put it at that. But yeah, just straight up ban Enterana, I think would have been the best way to think about it. Restrictions to 1 in the main deck, lame. Nonetheless, what do I think this will do for the respective clans? Pale Moon, as Megatrix says, this really doesn't do anything much for the clan itself. It opens up the usage of Alice inside of like the new Harry retrained deck, but Alice doesn't really extend too much. I think being able to have Alice pop into Soul to pop out but into like the Pop Dragon, the Pop Pigeons, just have like extra copies of said names is valuable, and maybe that's why. But I think most of the times like you're looking to win the game on Leontina now, so I'm not sure how much Harry will do there. I think what's important is that Nightmare Dolls now have a way to play into Link Joker, and that's really all that Harry was in the G zone for. Enterana going to 1, all it does is hit the consistency of the Steam Maiden deck. Shlishma Balls is still an incredible card, and the more Dark States cards that come out in D only looks to improve on that. And yeah, as Echo says, we do have effectively Kurunta, which then becomes the second copy of Enterana, which means even if it's at 1, we still have 4 other copies in deck that we can just replace the 3 that got cut into Kuruntas, which will then search the Enterana. Yes, it will cost more Counterblast, but Steam Maidens doesn't really care too much about Counterblasts. And it looks like that is it for the ban list. So I've given you guys my thoughts on it, so just like kind of like run over it again. The only reason why I don't like the idea of Stunverse Zoras is because Stunverse should be like your finisher. Because it's at 1, you want to save it at a very opportune time. So going Stunverse Zoras cuts you off of the line where you can finish with Stunverse. I'm pretty sure that just going into Exterminate based on like your opponent having open circles is probably better. Could be wrong though. Still up to testing. Like from what I've heard, like the Eradicator plus the Vanquisher top end is like very bueno. And then Karen is just getting hit for the Infinite Loop. GP, I don't think was going to make any splashes, even with access to the loop anyway, so that's not too much of a hit. And then once more again, just to reiterate, that was my phone alarm. That was my phone alarm. This is once again reiterate the last part, the Dark State side of things. Pale Moon finally got Harry and Alice off the ban list. This won't make too much of a difference. Like I said, I think the main thing is that Alice will act as an extra name of Pop Pigeon or like, sorry, Pop Dragon. And then Enterana, I think should have just been straight up banned. I still think Shlishma is definitely one of the strides of all time. It is a counterblastless finisher, counterblastless engine to get more attacks off, force more cards out of your opponent's hand, and Enterana being able to like high roll into it or just like straight up search into it with Kurunta, I don't think makes too much of a difference. In any case, that's it for the ban list discussion that we have for today's video on Yellow Card TCG. Make sure to like the video, comment what you guys believe, and think about the ban list down below, and I will see you next time.